It will sometime. It says we're live. So what's up, everybody? How you doing? We are back. We are back. Had a week off due to a lot of different things, but we are back with episode 212, which we of course will be getting started very, very soon. As always, we are live on YouTube every single week. And today we are also live on Twitter. No, I will not call it by the letter. I'm still tweeting. Speaking of a tweet, our first little bonus segment we'll talk about here in just a minute, but we are live. So please let us, any questions you have, comments, anything, drop them in the chat. We'll get to them either during the break or at the end of the show, or if it's, before the show, we'll talk to you right now. But my name, of course,
Well,
is
I don't think,
Drew,
hold
or
on,
the
before we
DH.
do this, I know we had talked about doing this first segment as a YouTube only kind of thing, but the more I think about it, maybe we should include it in the regular audio podcast.
I think we should.
And just direct people back to the YouTube channel or to Twitter to check out the video, because we're going to be talking about some visuals on this one. So I want to make sure that we have have that opportunity. But
it's already
good.
up on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook for them, so they'll be able to see it. So
it's too good. So let's just get rolling with the regular podcast, and we'll just kind of roll in from there.
Okay, I like that idea. All right. So once again, everybody, if you are tuning in, I see a lot of people just now tuning in. Drop your questions, comments, anything throughout the show in the chat. We will get to it at the break or at the end of the show. So drop those. Wow, a lot of people coming in. That's awesome. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Episode 212. We're going to kick it off right now. Clear my throat. What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 212 of Let Me Get That Potograph. As always, my name is Drew, or the DH, and joining me, my awesome co-host, Mr. Scott Rappaport. What up, dude?
Oh, just chilling out. Just noticed on Instagram, not related to our first segment, that our buddy Card Carver had some stuff that he was showing off with, was it the Card Doctor?
Yes.
And everything he was, Card Doctor was going through was displayed in the really clear, really absolutely beautiful Mag Pros from Zion cases.
Oh, yes. So which I've got a very special Mag Pro, speaking of, which you can get 10% off any of your Zion case orders by using the promo code the DH. But I have a special Mag Pro flip coming because I finally found an Ed O'Neill auto. And so I made my own Polk Ed O'Neill. It's sick. I made my own flip for it. And so I've actually got that coming in the mail soon.
Does it mention anything about him scoring 4 touchdowns for Polk?
It sure does.
All right, excellent.
It sure does.
So I made sure
So
I commented on the Card Carver's post, and he does absolutely amazing stuff. But like totally, I'm like, dude, I love the way they look in the Zion cases, Mag Pros.
Yeah.
And sure enough, look, he's a friend of ours. Sure enough, he responds. He loves the Mag Pros.
I've got 2 on my desk. Now. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. So, just want to throw that out there because Zion Cases is a sponsor of the show. Clint Anderson, longtime friend of ours, makes an absolutely amazing product. Not just the Mag Pros, but the cases as well. So make sure you go check those out. That's all I got. So what's going on your end?
Not too much. It's catching up from Culture Collision. Went to Culture Collision for the first time, and I had a blast, man. I'll tell you, they know how to put on a show. It's very much, I'd say, it's a mix between the Mint and a big card show, because there weren't as many card tables as I thought there would be, but there was a ton. But there was also a lot of trade show feel, which I mean, it even says it is a trade show. So it's a little different than your average card show. There was a lot of extracurricular activities that were going on, panels, discussions, things like that. But it was also a straight up card show. So I really loved the mix of it all. I had a blast. And one thing I wanted to spotlight on is I got a chance. I talked with a friend of the show, and everybody knows him, and a lot of people love him. A lot of people hate him, but Jeff Wilson. He had his launch of Cards HQ on Saturday. And he let us in a little early so we could get a table, hang out for a little bit. I went with John from Denver Card Shows. And the two of us sat down, and I'll tell you, man, this is an amazing, amazing shop. Now, he did a wonderful job. I will say you could have probably cut it in half on size-wise. It's a little overblown, but if he plans on having these big events like he put on, he needs that space. So if he plans on doing big events like that, which I'll tell you, this event was massive, obviously, and I think he could get in the Atlanta area with his following. If he put on a big event, I think, he could fill the space. But I was blown away and incredibly impressed at how nice it was. Just the amenities, the showcases. He had some custom showcases that Show Your Slabs did, and a lot of other stuff that are amazing that I'd never seen before. And then something else that I loved was I walked their singles aisle.
Mm-hmm.
Best prices I'd seen at a shop in years. Like, now, I will say, maybe that was for the grand opening. Let's see what they look like in a week. Maybe they were priced real cheap for the grand opening. But for singles, I walked through and I expected to see some high prices like every card show. That's not what I saw. And so I really think like the breaker area that they have, if it's really going to be going 24/7, like, and everything like that, I give him an A+ for his debut. Like, it was awesome. And it provided me with my best opportunity of the week, because me and John had a table. I bought some cards from John. As soon as a bunch of people saw that I was buying cards, I had a line of about 20 people trying to sell me cards because everyone else was just trading. So I bought so many cards at that place, and that was my job that weekend. So, it worked out good. It was fun.
There you go. And I saw a lot of the pictures because I did not go myself. It did
lasted an hour and a half. I did not stay for the crowd.
Okay. All right. I will say the place looked absolutely amazing, but I wouldn't expect anything less.
Yeah.
From anything that Jeff's involved in. He doesn't go halfway.
No.
He always goes, when he does stuff like this, it's always going to be 110% of what you're going to expect.
Got to meet his sister finally. She's a very nice lady, but it's a nice shop. I recommend checking it out if you're in Atlanta. But I'm going to be curious to see what they do, going forward with the shop. It's going to be cool to see. I'm interested in it. I know a lot of people don't care. I personally am. But Culture Collision, great show. They know how to put on a show, top to bottom. I can't say anything bad about Culture Collision. But
that's good to hear. I'll make it down there one of these days.
Good.
But hey, let me ask you this: while you were down there, did you drink?
Did I drink? No,
because somebody was clearly drinking.
Yes, they were. Oh, you're referring to my post this morning.
Somebody was clearly drinking.
Yep.
You want to go ahead and lead into this, because this is like I'll put it up on the screen in a minute
So I'm at Culture Collision, and then of course, like I said, I'm buying, and I come across a Pat Mcafee Auto, which shout out Pat Mcafee, please. Any Pat Mcafee fans that happen to tune in on Twitter today while we're live, please push this on to him. I want to get this to him because I want to get the answer. But I'm looking at cards and I come across a Pat Mcafee Auto. He doesn't have many,
No,
he's a kicker. And he was not popular when he was, in the league
during his playing days. Yeah.
Yes, and so they put him in a couple products now, and I was able to find a Donruss Elite Auto at a 99, and I was gonna get it regardless because he sells. He is popular as hell. He sells. He's liquid. If you can find his stuff, it moves. So I bought it. But I also bought it because the autograph on it, oh my God. Like, if you've seen his autograph before, there's no other way to put it. His autograph is actually very nice. And then you get this autograph on a card. I had to have it. I was like, this is too bad. So I posted on Twitter today. I said, what's the over under on how many beers that Pat had before while he was signing this card? because I think you have it where you can put it up on the screen. We'll see if we can get it up there for everyone.
We got it right now.
The interwebs. Yeah. So there you go. There's the beautiful autograph by Pat McAfee. Now, some people have said possibly his kid signed it. A lot of people have asked that he demonstrate his handwriting on the air to prove to show that he could sign that. But that is just, I mean, bro, I mean, I could see this from someone being drafted like this year or next year, but not someone that was born in like the 80s, because we were taught handwriting. We were taught cursive. We know how to have a signature. Like this is rough. This was either autograph number 10,000 on the day and his hand didn't work anymore, or he was piss ass drunk.
Or, as you can see on the screen over here, we have one comment, Doug Tuttle on Twitter, either that or he let his kids sign it.
And I would love that.
And that would actually be kind of cool. Now, I did notice I shared the screen. You posted two. One just had the card, and the other one had the over-under on how many beers deep Pat was during the signing.
Yes.
Go ahead and kill this off here, because you obviously have shared.
Yeah, I put the line at 6.5.
6.5.
I think that's fair for Pat.
I think over. I'm with the over as well. I did not share it online. I am touting one of my other accomplishments today. So, but I would agree with you on the over.
Yeah, absolutely. This was absolutely there was alcohol involved in this, and I really hope, Pat, anybody out there, if you guys catch this, anyone that listens to this show, please share it, get it to him, because he'll address it even on the YouTube after show. He loves this type of stuff.
Yep.
I want to see him address the auto, talk about it, find out this answer. So go share it on socials. If you're checking it out on our audio version of the show, we've got the posts on Instagram and Twitter, so make sure to check those out.
All right, moving on.
Yes,
some interesting news popped out the other day.
Very shocking.
And this is, well, it's not really shocking if you know the background to it. All right, so Fanatics announced that they were picking up the UFC license.
Yes.
Now, they announced shortly after Panini got the WWE license that it was going back to Fanatics as soon as that contract was over.
Right.
Now,
and now they're one company.
Exactly. I was going to say, a lot of people don't realize that WWE and UFC have the same parent company.
Yeah, TKO Holdings.
Yeah, as of, was it like July of last year or something like that?
No, even more recent than that.
Is it more recent than that?
It was around, I believe, Thanksgiving or so.
Okay.
So, maybe Halloween, but not. The point is, very recently, they're still formulating everything, getting the board set up. Obviously, Vince McMahon was kicked off the board this week, and Brock Lesnar's probably kicked off everywhere. Hopefully, we don't get game used Brock Lesnar shorts, but yeah. But that this was shocking to me. I mean, I expected it because, I mean, we knew WWE was going to Topps eventually. Like, yes, the courts put in the decision and everything that, Panini could continue putting stuff out for now. But we knew that the WWE license was going back to Topps eventually.
Right.
So it made sense, but I thought the way Panini, and this is why it shocked me, I thought the way Panini had been pushing their UFC athletes and things like that, like Panini realized that they'd lost all the major sports. So they really went in on UFC. They went in heavy on UFC. They made quality products. They've made a lot. I mean, they've gone in big. And to lose this,
That's a big one.
This is a big blow. And this isn't one of those, it's going to be held up in court type of deal things. No, this looks like a straight up transferred. Boom, it's done.
Yep. No, exactly. And the UFC cards, I think, were outselling the WWE stuff, minus a couple of key wrestlers.
They were. Now, on the year, WWE is still leaps and bounds, at least over the last 12 months in rate of growth, leaps and bounds bigger than anything. But UFC over the past couple of months has seen quite an increase as well.
Now I'm strictly talking about cards. I'm not talking about the actual promotion.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, all right. I wasn't sure.
Card market,
obviously WWE is huge.
WWE consistent rise over 12 months.
Yeah, and that's that's not really a shock.
No.
Especially because they don't have a ton of products out there.
But now we're getting Topps Chrome back. Like, we're getting Topps Chrome UFC back. We're getting like all these products that they can bring back. I hope they bring back Undisputed. Like a lot of really cool stuff. I like this idea, but I mean, this is I think people are talking about this like this is awesome. Topps got UFC. I'm looking at this as like Panini is literally, we are watching them slowly just be gutted.
Well, this one wasn't as much of a surprise, only because when UFC and WWE combined under the same parent company.
Well, yes,
it was only a matter of time before this was going to happen. But what I noticed in the press release that was put out was there was no date as to when Fanatics under the Topps brand was going to start.
Topps Chrome's coming out this month.
But when does the contract end with Panini?
Now that I don't know. So we may get Topps and Panini because there is no like players association in the UFC. So it's just the UFC. I don't know.
And that's the thing. And if the contract was up, then obviously there's nothing Panini can do about it. Right. But if they're going to try to, if they're going to again try to produce cards and challenge an existing contract that doesn't expire for another year, that's that may delay the release of Topps Chrome depending on what Panini ends up doing.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if there's specific wording in this contract or anything. I would have thought a lot of the legal people like Paul Lesko or somebody would have come out and said something by now if he thought, and I would have thought some court stuff would have happened. I would have thought if Panini could do anything about it, there would have been a court like try to put an injunction in place.
Maybe not, because this just came out within the last 48 hours. And usually it takes, to get something into the courts and things like that, you've got at least a 3 or 4 day period. So I just don't know the details behind it. So I'm not entirely sure. Like, did the contract expire? What do we have? And I haven't checked the release calendar, but like, what do we have for Panini related UFC products?
And it very well could be also I'm trying to find the release date calendar right now while we're doing the show. But it very well could be possible in the contract that Topps owns a printing company now that prints all these. So if everything's been printed and everything's been packed out that Panini has the rights to do, Topps may have that right. You know what I mean? They may have that right to then say, okay, well, Panini doesn't, we can halt the printing. We can do all that. They do it anyway. Maybe there was a loophole in that contract that was able to get him into it. I know Panini has some releases that are still out there, so it looks like we will get some crossover. But I'm looking right now and I'm trying to find something and I can't really find anything at the moment.
Yeah, I did some research on to see if there was anything about the contract length or anything like that, and I couldn't find anything. Doesn't mean it's not out there. I just gave it a quick 10-second search on it and didn't really see anything that stuck out. But it's interesting to see how that is going to wind up playing out.
I see no UFC on the calendar,
which means
on Beckett's calendar. I see no UFC, so it's quite possible.
It's possible the contract was up.
Yep. Now I'm going to Cardboard Connection as well, but I do not see it, so it is possible. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, shocking news in the hobby with Topps taking over UFC immediately and getting WWE soon. I think you're going to see some crossover products being in the same company. You're already seeing crossover matches being laid. Like there's a lot of WWE guys that want to do UFC and vice versa. And that stuff is going to happen eventually. They're starting to lay groundwork for it. It might take a couple years, but you're gonna see it eventually. It's going to happen. And so you might see some crossover products, but Topps Chrome UFC is coming back. I'm excited about that. They did some I hope they have the same ingenuity they did before, because they always made different types of products for UFC than they did for anything else. And I hope they do that instead of just following the same old formula of, the same releases as everything else. But we'll see what happens.
With the exception of Chrome. I think every sport should.
No, everything needs Chrome. No, everything needs should like have Chrome, Finest, things like that. There need to be the top products. Absolutely. Flagship, all that stuff. I mean, when it comes to your other stuff, when it comes to your additional things, do the Undisputed, do the Fight Nights, do the cool stuff you did when you had it the first time. Now it's a completely different team, but I mean, look at what those things go for now. Look at what they sell for. That type of stuff was very popular a long time ago. Those same people are collecting UFC, if not more.
I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see UFC Dynasty if they wind up doing that.
Now that would be sick. UFC Dynasty could be amazing.
So,
all right. Nice.
Moving on.
Yes.
All right. So, Donruss basketball just came out.
Yes, it did. One of the biggest products of the year, rated rookies.
Yep. And they brought back something that they actually have done before. There's precedent for this
multiple times.
I'm not a fan of this precedent.
It's the stupidest fucking thing in the world.
But they typically have autograph cards, for some rookies and veterans and things like that. But we know that a lot of the players signed autograph agreements with Fanatics.
Yes. Now keep in mind on the Donruss design, because it has to translate over to optic, they keep the entire bottom half of the card autograph prepped for the base and the autograph for the rookies, because they have to be able to do the autograph. So it has that autograph look. Kind of have to preface that for this.
Yeah. Now, we notice with those athletes, those basketball players that have signed the agreements that are exclusive with Fanatics and not with Panini.
Insane.
Instead of an autograph, and I believe Donruss is usually sticker autos.
Donruss is sticker.
Optic is on card. Right. But instead of having the sticker with the autograph on there, they decided to actually make the cards.
Jesus fucking Christ.
But just put in quotes, no autograph.
No autograph. Yeah. In very big, bold letters.
Yes. Now, I will say that does stop the confusion with everybody jumping onto the, in the different Facebook groups and things like that, being like, hey, I pulled this card and it's missing the autograph.
That's where it comes. That's why I mentioned that they have the whitened version. They have the autograph prep version on each one, because you knew that was going to come, and they had to do. Granted, they had to do something to designate these, but I would have.
Well, what they had to do was not put them in the freaking product.
Well, not put them in the autograph checklist. Yes, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
Put them in the autograph checklist, because there's absolutely no reason. The players that are influenced. Now, granted, listen to the names here too, and you'll notice a trend.
Yeah,
Scoot Henderson, Jamie Jaquez Jr., Jet Howard, Cam Whitmore, Jalen Hood Shifno, Brandon Miller, and Wemby. Oh, just like four of the best rookies that there are in the freaking league right now, especially with Jaquez and Brandon Miller starting to take off. But so you put the no auto there, but there's a very simple way, like leave them out of the fucking autograph checklist. And then for the base cards, so people can't fake the auto, make them different looking. Yeah. Make them variations. Make them 5 short printed variations or something. Do something different, because you've got to deal with it in some way, shape, or form. And in this day and age, a couple years ago when they did this in the past, they were no-name players. These were guys that were not going to come out of nowhere and become fucking superstars. These were guys they knew were nobodies. They just didn't have the rights. They didn't sign the contract in time, so they didn't put them in. Big fucking deal. Nobody cared. This type of stuff, you can't do this in this day and age, man.
No. People know better. And this is one of the things that shocks me. That, like, look, put a base card.
Can you imagine if they do this for Optic? A fucking super fracture that says no autograph.
But here's the thing: because they prepped the cards like this, and because they know they're not going to get signed for Optic, they're going to be an Optic like this.
They have to, unless they do what I said. Take my fucking advice now and make these cards quickly. Make variations or take them out of the set. Yeah. Why did they even need to be in the set?
Well, they can't make them quickly anymore because Fanatics owns the printing press.
Well, that's true. They'll cut them off. Yeah.
It's not like the good old days where they can make changes up until the last
that's
minute.
True. Fanatics won't let them.
But this is
just take them out.
This was a bad decision.
You cannot have Wemby's Superfractor have that no autograph bold on there. You have to take it out.
Yeah.
You have to. There's no way, shape, or form around it. You just have to. You have to take him out of the autograph checklist so people know that, okay, if an autograph version shows up, which in-person ones will, and they'll be easily vetted because he's got a pretty easy signature to check out. It's not very difficult.
Right.
But, there will be in-person ones that people get signed because, like I said, Donruss, the way the design is, they're prepped that way on purpose. They're rated rookies. But you got to take them out of the autograph checklist so people know that there's no autographs in there. Boom, problem solved. Instead, you had to do this. You had to print these. Like, you couldn't destroy these. Out of everything that you could do, you had to do this. This is pathetic.
No, I would agree. And I'm trying to find, because I didn't even look to see what they were set. Like, if any of them have been sold.
Oh, and football collectors, while you're doing that, football collectors, get ready, because it's coming next year too, probably, with football, especially when the Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, Penix, and all that stuff, when all those announcements get made, that they take pretty much every quarterback's auto you want, and Panini doesn't happen next year. It's already happened. It just hadn't been announced yet. But
here you go. So
that could happen in football too.
So here we go. Cam Whitmore, $66.
I think Wemby's was a couple hundred, like 600 or something.
Well, Scoot, I'm just going through. Scoot is 70. We've got Jordan Hawkins for 100. We've got another Whitmore at 66.
That's huge money, though.
It depends on how short printed they are. Because we're just treating these
Donruss autos.
Well, here's a Jalen Hood Shafino for $20.
Yeah, where he should be.
Yeah,
where he should be.
And I'm looking for Wemby.
Well, I mean, sort by highest price and see what the Wemby is, and it's very.
I'm just gonna add Wembanyama in there. He doesn't
but the point is, I mean, the people are paying hundreds of dollars. You mentioned multiple at $70, $80, $100 for an autograph that has a stamp that says no autograph on it.
No, exactly.
That's insanity.
I don't see a Wemby on there at all.
People stop buying this stuff. I know there have been some sales. We'll figure it out and let you guys know. But the point is that this stuff does not need to be done. And I'm afraid they're going to do it in football. I'm afraid it's going to come to football next year because obviously they're going to use the basketball design. So, I mean, I don't know. This is weird, and I really hope that products like Contenders, where stuff like that is included, where I just hope we don't see this in other products. I really am shocked that the hobby is not more kind of like, what the fuck about this? but the hobby likes to get mad at stupid stuff instead of stuff that actually matters, like just hideously ridiculous stuff like this.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is got Panini has to know that this can't fly. Like this has to, you can't do this again.
No, absolutely not.
And take them out for optic, for God's sakes.
All right. And speaking of not doing this again,
yeah,
we're going to take a break so Drew can calm down.
Sounds good.
And we will be back after this.
What's up, everybody? Thanks. We got a lot of people tuning in. For those of you, if it's your first time, we stream every single show live before we put up on the interwebs for all of you guys. And if you have any questions, comments, things you'd like us to discuss, please drop them throughout the show and we'll answer them at the break. And then at the end of the show, sometimes we have some bonus content, bonus segments, things like that added in as well. So always make sure to tune in. It's always on YouTube today, YouTube and Twitter. But guys, please get that McAfee. I want Pat McAfee to address that autograph because he's cool enough that he'll do it. So retweet that if you can. Just go to our Instagram, share it, tag him. Tag the PMS Live. That's Pat McAfee Show hashtag PMS Live. Please share it. I want Pat McAfee to see this because it's just too funny. Throw it up there real quick before we get back into it for anyone that didn't see it before.
Hang on, I gotta pull it back up again because I closed the tab.
That's all right. No, we'll be getting right back into it. So let me check the question things real quick. Daniel Rodriguez, none have sold. I believe I saw a couple that did sell. Because I saw someone say a post of Starstock or somebody like that saying that there were a couple of sales.
There we go.
There we go. So let's share that away, as that autograph is just fucking hideous, and I want to know how drunk he was, or if that guy Doug Tuttle said, did his kids sign it? I really, really, really want to know. So please share that out. Let's get Pat to address that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So cut that out there. And we'll go back. There we go. All right. So, oh man. Yeah, he's got to address this.
Okay, one auto has sold. First one sold. First Wemby did sell. Take a guess.
$800.
$1,250. $1,250, and it literally is a stamp that says no fucking autograph.
That's about $1,200 too high.
Yeah, I don't get people.
Yeah. I can explain it. I can explain it.
What?
The person who bought it was too hot.
Yeah.
That's, dude, cocaine's a hell of a drug. That's the only explanation.
Yeah, I could.
I just want to put this out there because I haven't in a long time, and we do need to remind people of this.
Yes.
Drugs are bad. Okay.
Yeah. There you go. Drugs are bad.
Drugs are bad. Okay.
I think I still got that audio clip.
Yeah, which is used to be a weekly thing. That I would remind people about that when we had something absolutely insane that we were discussing. Which there was a period of time where that was like every week.
Oh yeah,
something just completely and utterly batshit crazy was going on within the hobby, and we just had to remind people that drugs are bad. Okay.
Yeah.
But now, it's been a minute since we've had to remind people about that.
Very, very true. So, all right. Well, you want to dive back in?
Hold on. I just wanted to point out that when I was president, we never ever had cocaine in the White House.
Yeah. There you go. So, real quick, I did want to show off something cool I got this weekend. Mirror Gold Terrell Davis in-person autograph with Hall of Fame inscription.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right.
Pretty
Well,
badass.
since we're rolling that route here.
Well, no, we're not going to go through a million.
No, that's all right. I just I ripped one blaster of Bowman Chrome U.
That's fine. I'm trying to find a photo anyway.
Yeah, that's okay. And I hit this guy here. Was this Zakari Reicher gold?
Yeah.
True gold auto to 50.
Nice.
That was a nice one. So yeah, since you had the mirror gold out there, I decided to bring the gold out.
There you go. Why not?
All right.
All right. Well, I will let you you bring us back in.
All right, excellent. And we are back. Thank you for putting up with the advertising. If you were listening on Spotify, iHeartMedia, iTunes, etc. For those of you that stayed on YouTube with us, you got to see the insanity.
Yeah. And we did find out that Wembanyama has one auto sold so far. Well, one no autograph sold, and it sold for a ridiculous $1,250.
And maybe it was Pat McAfee that bought it when he was during the same drunk period
when he was signing that card. Yeah.
Who knows? We don't know.
It's possible.
I know, but speaking of insanely priced cards,
holy shit,
this was nuts. Not unexpected, but still nuts.
Yeah.
Bowman first, Caitlin Clark Superfractor auto. Sold for, what was it,
$78,000 at PWCC auction.
That is crazy.
I honestly almost at a loss for words. Like, and there was another sale. I'm really sorry for not knowing the girl's name off the top of my head, but her Superfractor just the other day went for like 10 grand or so. It was the two highest women's sales of cards, sports cards.
Was it Paige Buchers?
No.
Okay.
Someone with a hyphenated name. Can't remember who. But it sold for around 10. So you've had two of the highest sales ever for women's basketball cards in the last 72. I mean, really last week. In the last week, you've had two of the biggest. But this Caitlin Clark, 78 grand. I mean, I want to know who the buyer is, but I don't understand it. I get she is amazing. I get she's transcendent, but what? She could go win 6 WNBA championships, be the best WNBA player to ever live. And what? Nothing's going to happen. I mean, does a tree fall in the forest? Does someone hear it? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, no one's watching the games. No one cares. She could dominate women's basketball. And unless she makes a presence through social media and stuff like that, and a following outside of the sport, how in the hell can this go anywhere but way down?
Well, here's something. So Iowa played at Northwestern last night.
Yeah.
At Welsh Ryan Arena.
Oh, no, she's a spectacle. She's a Taylor Swift.
Sold out. Women's basketball game at Northwestern sold out for the first time ever. Now, granted, there's only 7,700 seats in the entire place. It's not a huge stadium, but wherever she goes,
it's a sellout.
It's a sellout. It's packing stadiums.
No, she's transcendent in the sport. 100%.
My question is, look, we know that viewership numbers for the WNBA are ridiculously low.
Yes.
But does that change when she comes into the league next year? I mean, there's no question she's going to be the number one draft.
I mean, she could double it, but it still wouldn't be any type of footprint. That's the problem. She could double it, and there's no footprint.
Well, maybe this is the beginning of the. I'm trying to find a bright side to this. I'm not trying to like talk down on it.
Because I don't want to talk down on it because I think it's amazing.
I'm not talking about the card sale. I'm talking about just women's basketball in general.
Me too. I want to see
a market for it.
I think it's amazing that women's basketball is getting the attention that it's getting now, because I thought it was going to peak with like Prism and Sabrina. You know, I kind of thought that was it. And seeing Caitlin come has been awesome. And to see people get into it has been awesome. But look at what happened with Sabrina's cards. Look at where they're at now compared to what we saw. Now, granted, that was the first run at it. So maybe this is a little different. And maybe this is where people start to catch on. And I'm telling you, I'm looking at these sales. I told you that I thought give it a couple of years and you'd start to see very big sales when it came to these college products, these firsts in other sports that did not exist before. You're seeing big sales now in all sports. This Caitlin Clark, there's other cards of hers that they could have bought, for
so here is
point, but they chose this.
Here's going to be the telltale sign. So when she is in the WNBA next year, she'll have a Prism rookie.
Yes.
There will be a black finite auto.
Yep. Maybe.
I completely forgot about that.
Maybe.
Under normal circumstances, there would be a black finite auto.
Yeah. If not, she'll have a nice big no autograph sign for you.
Exactly. But she'll also have a black finite non-auto.
Yeah. Assuming she has the auto.
So the question is going to be, when that eventually hits the market,
which one hit? Yeah.
Which one is going to be the bigger hit? Now,
well, I would argue instead of the black finite auto, the Optic Super.
Do they do WNBA?
Oh yeah, they probably won't do Optic. They might for her.
Here's my thing. So baseball, because again, Bowman firsts for non-baseball product. This is a relatively new thing, especially with them being college athletes.
Oh yeah.
In baseball, the Bowman First Superfractor Auto will outsell
the Topps Chrome Rookie Auto.
Chrome Superfractor Rookie Auto or the Bowman Chrome Superfractor Rookie Auto.
Right.
In this case, because we're talking college versus professional.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if the non-auto Superfractor has been hit and if it's going to hit the market anytime soon, because I think that is more of an apples to apples comparison to a non-auto. Yeah. So this is all we have to go on right now.
And this is all assuming she even goes to play in the WNBA. I mean, she will. I'm assuming she will. But like I said, I think she's going to have to be, for sales like this to continue and for her market to stand up to this, because once she's gone from Iowa, a lot changes. She's going to have to be one of those people that has her own show, that has this outside cult following that stays with her well beyond her college days. It's very easy to get caught up in the college hype. We've seen it with so many athletes before. And I just want, when she graduates and moves forward, hopefully that hype continues. But absolutely insanity. $78,000 for that card. I could not believe it over at PWCC Auction House, but insane sale.
Yeah. Happy for whoever bought it.
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't know what else to say.
I know. Congrats, McAfee.
Yeah. I just don't know. Maybe Caitlin Clark herself bought. Who knows?
Doubtful.
No, but actually, speaking of, especially with all the huge NIL deals that have been going around, would it be really cool if Olivia Doon bought it?
That'd be pretty cool.
That would actually be really cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
Especially since LSU beat Iowa in the finals of the tournament last year. So
that'd be pretty cool.
So, all right. So moving on.
Yeah.
In our final segment today.
Okay.
We are going to be discussing
something crazy.
Failure.
Yeah.
We're discussing failure.
Yes.
Well, kind of. One part failure, another part non-failure.
Yeah.
We talked about it when it popped out, and things were going absolutely insane. These cards were selling for ridiculous amounts of money. They
close to $100,000.
Yeah, they had huge booths at the National the past couple of years, and now they're out of business.
Yeah, MetaZoo.
Talking about MetaZoo.
Gone. And dude, I work every Collecticon and have worked every Collecticon ever. I watched the demise of this company from where they would take up almost a quarter of the entire place all the way down to where they had like a single tiny little booth. We could all see it coming. A lot of people knew this was coming, and when I read the New Year's manifesto that they put out about how they were going to be doing their printing and all this stuff this year, I knew that this stuff was just going to be a disaster. But this is a game that was catching on heavily, that had TV stuff in the works. Like there was a TV show based on this in the works, and all of it done over. I don't know if anyone picks up the IP or not, but really, I think they got taken over by One Piece. If you look at Alt's 7-day trend, the number one riser of any card at all is a One Piece character for the last 7 days. So I don't know if they've succumbed to that, or the fact that, look, 20 different TCG games have been created since Pokemon became super popular.
Yeah.
A lot of them are 99% of them we knew were going to fail. MetaZoo, I did not expect to throw in the towel this early. Even though now looking back on it at Collecticon, you could see the demise happening.
So here's the thing that I've noticed within the TCG space. The games that are successful,
yes,
and the cards that are successful, with a couple of exceptions, started off as something else before it became a TCG.
Yes. Yep.
And MetaZoo,
Disney being a great example.
Well, not even Disney. Pokemon.
Yeah.
Pokemon itself started off as the video game.
Right.
You also have I think Yu-Gi-Oh start off as something else?
I believe so, something like that. Yeah.
And again, it's still going strong.
Exactly.
Lorcana with Disney. Obviously, Disney, all the characters that are in it started off as, animation, and that kind of stuff.
It works much better as a spin-off than a brand new creation.
Because people know the characters. One Piece started off as something else before it became the TCG.
Yep.
MetaZoo, on the other hand, just started as a TCG.
Yes.
Came out of nowhere.
And from someone that, like I said, worked a million shows with this company, setting up their biggest showcases, their biggest tournaments were all held at these events that I was at. I'd never seen a company so mismanaged. They had Mike. I know Mike really well from meeting him a million times. He subbed a bunch of his biggest stuff all through us at the show. He'd sit down with us and talk to us about it. We were really interested in MetaZoo, and I made a lot of money off of MetaZoo in those promos at the beginning. I did. I made a lot of money, but I also saved a shitload I don't know what's going to happen now, if they're going to be worth anything or if anyone cares. Most of the time when these games die, people don't care anymore. But this is something, like I said, that had a TV show at least interested in it, and from my understanding was in the works, and has a loyal player base. I could see someone buying the IP.
Well, but here's the other thing.
Well, hold on 1 minute. If they did, they would have to take at least a year or so to get the sour taste out of everyone's mouth, and they'd have to really start completely from scratch.
No, but here's what I think is going to happen. I think that loyal player base, will either continue to play, or they'll pack up all their stuff, they'll put it away. And in 10 or 15 years, it'll get discovered again.
Yeah.
And you'll start seeing people playing it again. And I think it may rise in popularity to the point where, either Mike, if he keeps the IP, or somebody else, if they buy the IP, will start producing again.
Yeah.
And you'll see the original print run cards. If the market picks up, the original print run cards before the, 10, 15 year, dead period will rise in value again.
Yeah.
So I think you're better, with the ones you have, that just put them away.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. Setting them away.
Just to see what happens. Because the reality is, you're not
I'm setting
they're
them right
still
with
up.
my Fortnite first editions that are worth nothing, but might be worth something one day.
Yeah, there you go. You're not out. You already made enough off the ones you sold when the
Oh
when it
God,
came out.
yes,
So
ungodly amounts of money off of that company.
yeah, so even if they drop down and they're worth nothing in 10 years, all right, whatever. It's not a big deal.
No.
It's a cool story. It'll
Yeah.
remind you of the time that, hey, there was this game out that thought it was everybody thought it was going to be the next big thing, and it failed. And it's just a reminder.
Rapid fail.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a reminder that
quick
9 times out of 10, something you try to do is going to fail.
Yeah.
And that's that. That's life.
Yeah. But on the card front, while one died,
another one is being resurrected from the dead.
Yes.
Leaf decided to have a seance.
Yes. Leaf has bought the rights to Press Pass and now owns the Press Pass brand. So obviously, Brian Gray left Leaf. Leaf's new ownership has said that they had a very different vision for where they were taking this company. We have not really seen that vision come into play yet, but it looks like they're starting to build it out and start to show you a little bit of what they're going to do. And this raises a ton of questions, really, but Leaf has bought Press Pass.
Why?
Yeah, that's my question.
That's it. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Why? It's been a dead brand for over a decade.
Yeah.
I
mean, Topps Topps F1 is exclusive with Topps, right? That's an exclusive.
That's an exclusive deal.
NASCAR's tied up with Panini, so unless they can steal NASCAR, what?
Well, but you also got to remember that Press Pass used to do. They used to do football too.
Oh yeah, they did everything.
They did everything. So it wasn't just.
But they were known.
They were really known for NASCAR.
Yeah,
and I mean, I've done a lot of Press Pass products back in the early 2000s, and all the way up until like Legends in 2013, and things like that. I mean, they made an amazing product, but why?
Well, the only thing I could think of here is it possible that Leaf plans on completely revamping and completely like using the name for the name recognition alone, but revamping everything we know about Press Pass? Could it be just something to where it's completely like a brand new thing that we've never seen?
Unless they acquire licensing for a sport,
that's what I don't understand is what it's used for. Yeah,
it's going to be the same thing. Now I understand. So Leaf also bought Pro Set a couple years ago.
Well, and I kind of understand. Brian owned the IP for a long time. He just finally decided to start using it.
Okay. But I kind of understand that one because at the time, Brian still owned Leaf.
Yeah.
And Brian got his start in the hobby working for Press Pass.
Yes.
So there's a nostalgia piece to it. Or sorry, Pro Set. There was a nostalgia thing in there.
Yes.
I get that.
Right.
Like, I understand that. And look,
Pro
Set did have some iconic cards back in the day.
Yeah.
I
don't know what they're going to do with it. It could be something just as simple, like I said earlier. Brian Gray owns a lot of IP to a lot of cards, a lot of brands that people don't know about. But this could be Leaf just buying up Press Pass just to use in the future, maybe. I don't know. But it was a very weird move and a shocking move to me because I just don't know what it's going to be used for. Like, maybe they transition Press Pass into their low end type of stuff and try and position their Leaf, Pop Century and things like that. Try and position Leaf with the higher end stuff and maybe use Press Pass as their Sage type of stuff. I don't know. It makes no sense to me.
No.
But like I said, we haven't seen what this new version of Leaf, we haven't seen what they're really going to look like because all these products that are coming out are all stuff that was designed under the past regime.
Well, they could have used Pro Set as their low end.
I agree.
I
agree.
The Leaf, the chromium stuff and the Pop
Century. I totally agree. I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm trying to make sense of why purchase this and make the announcement. Like, it's one thing if you just purchase it. It's another thing to purchase it and announce that you purchased it. So,
well, if they announced it with the announcement, that implies that they're going to use it at some point soon.
That's my point. So what?
Yeah,
what are we
but
what?
Do? For what?
That I have no idea.
We'll find out. There's something there we're just not seeing.
Yeah.
And I want to know what it is.
Yeah.
I want to know what it is.
So do I. Hopefully Leaf will clarify soon. I've got a couple of contacts that still work there, and I can always hit Brian up and maybe get someone to maybe come on the show and give us a little clarity on how Press Pass is going to be used. Hopefully we can give you guys an update on that. But very interesting acquisition, to say the least. Not one I expected. Didn't expect to hear the Press Pass name anymore for a long time. Not what I expected Leaf to be doing as they transition into the next generation of Leaf.
Right.
But I don't know. Here we are.
And that's, I don't know. It's one of those weird things that just kind of, it's there.
Yeah, I totally agree. But we'll keep you guys updated if we get any news on that. But yeah, so Leaf purchasing Press Pass. We'll see if Press Pass can have any sort of resurrection that means anything whatsoever. But Scott, I think it's probably a good time to wrap up episode 212. What do you think?
I would agree. It's time to go off and do other things for the day.
I agree with you there. I got a lot on my plate today. So we are going to wrap up this week's show. Before we go, of course, I'd like to thank our awesome sponsors. We could not do the show without you guys. Thank you so much. Got Show Your Slab, Slab Strong, Stand-Up Displays, Game Time Sports Cards, Denver Card Shows, Card Ladder, and of course, Zion Cases. And of course, get 10% off all Zion Cases products, including Mag Pros, by using the code THEDH right there on the screen, THEDH. At checkout, you get 10% off everything. And of course, check out Hobby Hotline every single Saturday, 11 a.m., Bench Clear Media. My new article is up on hobbynewsdaily.com. Make sure to check that out. Iconic inserts. We went with hot gloves this month, so we check out some hot gloves. But we've got a lot of awesome stuff coming up for you guys in the next couple weeks, so stay tuned. But till next week, you guys know the deal. Keep ripping those packs, pulling those hits. We'll talk to you then. Peace. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. 2 weeks for Shohei Dodger hunting. Yeah.
I don't know if it's the thing, though. I think they may hold him till Series 2.
I think they might hold him for Series 2.
Yeah, because they won't have any action shots of him in a Dodgers uniform.
Yeah.
And I can't see them airbrushing, photoshopping, any of that, because everybody will know that he didn't play in a Dodgers uniform. I think they'll probably use some spring training stuff.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. But I think he ends up in Series 2.
Yeah, I completely agree. So we will see. But hey, new Tops is coming out. That's always fun. Always nice. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back next week. I know, Scott, you got a lot to do. I got some stuff I got to do. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Once again, we're always live when we do these shows. So please check them out if you can. And sometimes we'll be on Twitter. Sometimes we'll be on Instagram. We'll always be on YouTube. Please like, subscribe, hit that bell. Helps us out a lot. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to this week's show. And we'll be back next week. See you guys later. Now the